At a national tournament like the Ironman, the last thing on anyone's mind is a season-ending injury. The first on my mind was to continue winning. At the start of day 2, I was one match away from placing in the top 8 and attaining All-American status. But in that match, things went terribly wrong. One moment I was on top of the world, and the next, my world was turned upside down. The first week of my stay at Akron Children's Hospital was a blur. I was on every painkiller in the book, and it seemed like I lived in the operating room. The day after the accident, doctors performed their first surgery, placing a metal rod inside my tibia and screws to hold it in place. Somewhere in that first 24 hours, something terrible went wrong. The muscles in the anterior compartment or outside of my leg were strangled inside a hard casing called the fascia. I felt the effects of this the next day. Unbearable pain, immense swelling, and a dark purple color in the leg. It took a while and some prompting from my mom, but the doctors finally came up with the diagnosis of compartment syndrome. A fasciotomy was performed immediately. Doctors opened my leg on both sides to allow the muscles to swell out. They found that some of the muscle was deoxygenated and had died. Over the next 4 days, 3 more surgeries were performed. More muscle was taken out each time. By the time I was ready to leave Ohio, I had less than 15% of the muscle left in the compartment. Luckily, I had numerous members of the Walsh Ironman community, Coach Smith, and the Robinson wrestling team for support. The flight from Akron to DC was a nerve-wracking experience that few can relate to. On December 21st, I was transferred bed to bed without leaving the stretcher. Because my leg was still open and had a wound vac on it, the trip was especially difficult. The wound vac is a very helpful medical device that kept my wound clean while draining unneeded waste from my leg, but it's very bulky. With the help of 2 great professionals, I was at Children's Hospital in a matter of hours. We met more bad news at Children's Hospital. In the 2 surgeries I had there, the remaining muscle in the anterior compartment was removed, and I officially lost the ability to lift my left toes and foot. A week in, the wound vac was removed, and I started to get moving from the bed to a chair. Not great, but it was a start. The surgeries left a nasty scar, but you know what they say, chicks dig 'em. One nice thing about Children's Hospital is that it was a little closer to home. I loved having visitors almost every day of my stay, from close family to wrestling arch rivals. Thanks to the Murphys and Smiths, Dan Scanlon, Forrests, the Changs, Rachel and Emily, Coach Hazard and Coach Dino, Buck, John, and Lucas, the Aiellos, Uncle Jesse, Aunt Kate, and my awesome little cousins, Joe Talawaga, and everyone else who made my stay as comfortable as possible. I started physical therapy at Children's, but the next part of my journey took me to Chicago for state-of-the-art rehab. I won't be narrating this next section, but words can't even describe the progress I made.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat or the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know. But no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Tox picking it up. Let's go.
Who the hell is he anyway? He never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still even him starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact fact that many misjudge him cause he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together himself, now the picture connects. Never asking for someone's help or to get some respect. He's only focused on what he wrote. His will is beyond reach, and now it all unfolds. The skill of an artist. This is 20% skill, 80% fear. Be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man. Ryu had the stupidest verse. This dude is the truth. Now everybody giving them guest spots. His stocks through the roof. I heard he f***ing with that stock.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
They call him Ryu, he's sick and he's spitting fire. And Mike got him out the dryer, he's hot. Found him in Fort Minor with top, but a f***ing nihilist porcupine. He's a the type women wanna be with, and rappers hope he gets 8 years in the making, patiently waiting to blow. Now the record with your notice taking over the globe. He's got a partner in crime, his is equally dope. You won't believe the kind of that comes out of this kid's throat. He's not your everyday on the block. He knows how to work with what he's got, making his way to the top. He often gets a comment on his name. People keep asking him, was it given that birth or does it stand for an acronym? No, he's living proof. Let him rock in the booth. He'll get you buzzing quicker than a shot of vodka with juice. Him and his crew are known around as one of the best, dedicated to what they do and give 100%.
Forget Mike, nobody really knows how or why he works so hard. It seems like he's never got time, because he writes every note and he writes every line. And I've seen him at work when that light goes on in his mind. It's like a design is written in his head every time, before he even touches a key or speaks in a rhyme. And those other fellas he runs with, the kids that he signed, ridiculous, without even trying. How do they do it? This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15%